Welcome to Then and Now, the series that brings Toronto's past back to life. I am Morgan Cameron Ross. Today we're taking a look back at the history of Toronto.
Toronto, known by numerous names and titles through the centuries, is located here, at the north end of Lake Ontario. People have lived in the area since just following the last ice age. It is the traditional land of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the Anishinaabe, and other indigenous peoples. It became the town of York in 1793, created by British settlers, and named City of Toronto in 1834. People often credit the name of Toronto as meaning the meeting place within indigenous languages, but this was disproven as a misinterpretation years ago. The city came to life during the Victorian era. The introduction of trains in the mid-1800s and the development of the ports led to arguably the largest change in the city. Toronto became modern, industrial, and important. In 1851, 97% of Torontonians credited themselves as being British, but this would clearly change. The city was primarily Protestant, but as the divergence of religions grew, its division also did. When the Edwardian era kicked off with the crowning of King Edward VII, Toronto was home to one of the world's largest fairs, at the time known as the Toronto Industrial Exhibition, renamed the CNE in 1912. The city, if you look at photos, was full of soot. Coal was powering good portions of life, and with that came grime. It was Edwardian, complete with people like this chap, a chimney sweep. World War I affected the city greatly. Not only did thousands of young men leave and not return, but changes happened in many regards. Women, often for the first time, entered the workforce. At first out of war necessity, but proving their immense talent and worth, it would be hard to roll this back. And this led to a different vision of gender roles within society. World War II, the city had grown into a modern metropolis, but metropolis is an interesting word and name. Iconic comic book character Superman lives in Metropolis, designed by two young men in Cleveland, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Shuster was from Toronto and designed the visuals of the series. Metropolis looked like this because Shuster worked here, the old Toronto Star building, for years. By the 1950s, the city had become the main hub of entertainment and media in the country. The Maple Leafs were at the top of the league, and prosperity was bountiful. The 1960s and early 1970s would bring further cultural importance to the city. The Yorkville scene was home to the likes of Neil Young, Buffy Sainte-Marie, Joni Mitchell, Gordon Lightfoot, Margaret Atwood, and many others. The tough times of the late 1970s and early 80s would still allow for a vibrant art scene, but still a rough and dirty facade. The 1990s were wild to many. The rise of rave culture, much music, Doug Gilmour, and iconic restaurants like Sneaky D's. The Toronto we now know, remarkably different than even a decade ago. What will it look like in 10 years from now?
That's it for this episode of Then and Now. I'm Morgan Cameron Ross. Catch you next time on Narcity.